Welcome back to my channel. In the last video, there was a narration about a young man called Vincent who is in a situationship with a woman that is probably old enough to be his mom. If you not watched that video, please watch our last video, the part one of this. Now, we've all been in that kind of situation where we did something that was not appropriate. It's not something we actually wanted to do, but the circumstances prevailing at that point made us take that decision. And at the end, in such cases, we'll say to ourselves, why did I do that? Why did I do what I did? So, first of all, I'll talk about the obvious reasons why Vincent did those things. Now, we all know people like Vincent, people that are nice, in quotes, people that find it hard to say no, people that always go out of their way to please others. For example, he even met her when he was trying to help her. She had a problem with her vehicle and he was trying to help her fix her vehicle. And at the end of the day, that was the first time he met her. Then the second time, or the time he met her again, was when he wanted to help his friend to park his vehicle, and it was a space that she provided. He went to ask her for the space. So one way or the other, they had this way of always bumping into each other, and before you know it, something happened. Something happened that was not appropriate. Now we all know these Vincent kind of people. They are friendly, they are nice, they find it hard to say no, no matter what it is. There's a popular musician in Nigeria that will know that has so many children from different women. And this is a nice guy. Everybody says he's a nice guy. But there's one thing he finds hard to say no to. He finds it hard to say no to having a relationship with women that he's not supposed to have. So being nice is a good thing, but being excessively nice at the detriment of your own personality is something you have to watch. Now, another obvious thing that we'll talk about is our culture. For cultural reasons. We know we live in Africa. For cultural reasons, it's not appropriate. As much as we would like to say things are modern now, it doesn't matter if a guy is younger and a woman is older, but there's usually a situation. For example, this woman, BC, this woman in the spotlight, she already has adult children that are living independently. That means she's old enough to be Vincent's mom. And so you see that the relationship will raise a lot of eyebrows. You would say, okay, if they love each other, it doesn't matter. But let's not deceive ourselves. This is Africa. The relationship will bring a lot of issues. But let's even assume that they really like each other and that it doesn't matter. You know, they're in love and all that. There's somebody in the picture. Vincent has a fiance. In fact, it's someone he's getting ready to marry to, getting ready to marry. And you see that they have a history together. They've been together. They're in the same church. So he's already betraying somebody in this relationship. Or he's already betraying somebody in the relationship he's embarking upon, or in the situationship. He's already betraying someone. He's already being disloyal. He's already living a life of deception. Because, of course, if the fiance finds out that he's in a situation with that older woman, with PC, there will be an issue. It will affect his marriage. So those are the obvious reasons. When we come back, we'll talk about the not so obvious reasons. But those little things that may have led Vincent to take the decision that he's taking. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Secretly dealing with what the society considers shameful? Or are you tormented by your thoughts? Or do you just want to learn from the experience of others? I am Ethel Modia, a trained behavior coach and certified mentor. And here on the Behaviour Hug YouTube channel, you will get that objective perspective that you so desperately need. Your life and purpose shouldn't be left to chance. It's time to get intentional.
Welcome back. In this segment, we are highlighting a story of a young man by the name of Vincent who is in an inappropriate relationship with someone old enough to be his mom. And we talked about the obvious issues. In this segment, we are going to talk about the not so obvious issues. Sometimes we have childhood things we go through in our childhood, and when we are adults, we find ourselves acting in a funny manner or behaving in a way that we feel, oh, it's just regular, or it's just happening, it's spontaneous. But as much as it looks as if Vincent's relationship or situation with BC, the much older woman, it just happened spontaneously. There may have been some things, some root causes, and those are the root causes I'm talking about. The obvious, not so obvious issues that I want to highlight now. One, their childhood issues, most likely their childhood issues in this. For example, some people, they grew up in homes where their parents neglected them. If Vincent, for example, if his mom was the absent mother, a mother that was not really around, that was doing her own thing, so there will be something, a subconscious need, a subconscious desire in Vincent to be loved and to be accepted by his mom. And if he takes that feeling to adulthood, because what he said is that when he saw her, they had a good relationship. So it obviously means that there was a gap in his life. He had a need to converse with an older woman or to somebody. And before you knew it, it led to something else. So he may be subconsciously looking for another mother or looking for acceptance if he did not get acceptance from his mother. Another thing is probably that, what about if his mom, when he was growing up, his mom had favorites? Some parents, they don't do it consciously, but sometimes they start comparing their children. They prefer one child to the other, and so one child feels as if I'm not good enough. So what that child does is that the child now goes on in his life or in her life in adulthood looking for acceptance, looking for love that they never got. So they now start looking for love from somebody else, like an older person to replace. Now, a more serious issue that may have happened to Vincent, quite a number of boys went through inappropriate relationships as young people. Now, there are some things I cannot say on YouTube, so I would like to just say it in a different way. For example, as a young boy, an older woman calls you and touches you inappropriately or says, and you now find yourself playing some adult games with that older person that you are not supposed to. Vincent was a victim of SA, and you know what SA stands for. If he was a victim of SA and he was initiated as a child, most of the time when males go through SA, they don't take it as something bad. They take it as something, they kind of have this thing of, oh, they don't complain, because when females go through SAs, people know it's something that they talk about. But males, most of the time, especially from women, older women, they kind of take it as, oh, it's no big deal, or because they are men, the society conditions them to just accept things like that and not to make a fuss. You are a boy, you shouldn't cry. So they grow up not expressing their feelings and they don't want to be seen as sissies, or they don't want to be seen as weak. So they accept such things and they don't say anything about it. If he was a victim, there's someone I know. When he was about 16 or 17, he went on a journey, and in the journey, there was this issue. They were supposed to go from one point to the other at a particular time, but it rained. It rained so bad that the vehicle he entered could not go very well to where he was supposed to go. So they were stranded. And when they got to a particular town, a fellow passenger, a woman of about 25, 26, 27, then he was about 17, now offered that he could come and sleep in her house. And he went to her house. That was how he was initiated into adult relationship. You know what I mean? She coerced him and she abused him. That's what it was. That's what it is. She abused him. And as a result of that, he doesn't have control to a large extent when it comes to there's this thing of lust that he can't control, and sometimes there's a root. Now, in the case of Vincent, if he was abused, most likely, if he was abused, there's a chance that he will, as a child by an older woman, there's a chance that he will now grow up and have some kind of feelings for that particular woman. So that can also be an issue. In these cases, we always have to look at the root causes. We don't just look at the surface issues. People take actions and they think it's spontaneous. Oh, it just happened. I don't know when I did it or something like that. But most of the time, there are deep reasons, there are root cause issues. So what do you think about it? Do you think it's a possibility that as a child, Vincent got into a situation, an inappropriate situation with an older woman? Do you think this must have led to his kind of attraction for BC? If you think so, put it in the comments. Or if you think it's not the case, also put it in the comments. I would like to know your opinion. When we come back, I'll be talking about the things that Vincent has, the steps he has to take to permanently end that relationship. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this time out. From the narration that Vincent is giving, you can see that Vincent has a relationship. He's about to get married to somebody that he really likes. But if he doesn't deal with the situation with BC, it can affect him not only now or in the future. Vincent is not taking it lightly. Already, he has moved out of that apartment that he was staying with BC. But you see that the distance has not been able to permanently cut off that relationship. They are still having that situation, even though it may not be as regular as before, but it's still a problem. So what can Vincent do apart from moving away, which has not worked? If you have any suggestions, put it in the comments. But I have several suggestions, because if Vincent just thinks, oh, if I move away, or if I get married, or when I start a family with his fiance, oh, that things will end, he will naturally end. The truth is that when you're single, if you don't deal with issues you have, issues of loss, or issues that it will affect your marriage one way or the other, there will be something that will happen and you find yourself repeating that thing you did in the past. The cycle will repeat, because if BC is not enough, if BC is not there, even if he succeeds in ending it with BC, if he sees another BC, another woman that is older, he may find himself falling into that pattern because he did not deal with the root cause of the issue. So if you're in that kind of situation, you are having feelings for someone you're not supposed to have, or you are doing something you are not supposed to do, you have to go to the root cause, find out exactly why you are doing those things.